We have been reporting on the ongoing pilot shortage across America, which is causing headaches for travelers and airlines.
One local school is working to address all these shortages within the airline industry.
Fox 5's Danny Maston spoke with one student who recently went through the program.
Ready for takeoff, pilot student Kendall Fundum had a change of heart after taking her first flight.
I was an executive assistant for a while, and I took a complete career switch to do this.
Fundum wanted to step in and help addressing the need for more pilots, as there are over 18,000 openings for airline and commercial pilots projected each year, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
We are coming up on that based on the mandatory retirement age for pilots.
All In Aviation, a local pilot school in Henderson, preps students to get into the aviation industry using one of the only two-of-its-kind simulators in the United States for training.
I figured out all the maneuvers in the sim first, so I was able to learn how to control and do different power settings and all of that.
The cockpit is it's the exact cockpit of the plane that you would actually be flying.
Once students complete their training and experience using the simulator, they then get in planes just like this one to take their very first flight.
I took off and I started crying because I immediately knew I wanted to do this for the rest of my life.
Almost new or brand new, technologically advanced, brand new aircraft. We operate 20 aircraft.
One plane ticket at a time, Fundum is working her way up to be a pilot for Frontier or Southwest Airlines.
Being a woman in the airlines, hopefully, can help maybe encourage other young women to get into it.
And says her training at All In Aviation is helping her reach that goal.
Sometimes you're just doing pattern work and landings, and you just keep going over and over and over again till you get it right.
Students are required to complete 40 hours to obtain a private pilot certificate and 250 hours to become a pilot for the airlines. In Henderson, I'm Danny Maston, Fox 5 News, Local, Las Vegas.
If you want information on how you can sign up to be a pilot and get trained, we have all the links. Just click on the story on our website at fox5vegas.com.